Hello and welcome to the Megacast. Today is Thursday, April 16th, 2020. I am Tyler Keefe. Dave Scott has the day off, but we have a very exciting show for you today. Plenty of guests lined up and lots of new information. We'll talk to Suzanne Levine from the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Also in West Bloomfield, we will speak to Chief Greg Flynn of the West Bloomfield Fire Department about a great show of solidarity and support that his team and local first responders showed for other people on the front lines fighting this coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. Plenty to talk about today, and we have other interesting guests from throughout Oakland County who will be speaking to us live on our show today about things that are affecting their businesses, things that are affecting their parts of their individual communities, and in turn, things that are affecting you, things that are affecting me. Because, like the saying goes, we're all in this together, and we are, because everything that we do individually, and everything that these businesses do, and everything that these organizations, first responders, communicators like us, everything that we do connects to one another and keeps our society alive. We've never been through this before. None of us, I don't think, and I can't say for sure, as I'm in process saying this, I can't say for sure that none of us were around for the 1918 pandemic, but none of us have been through this before. And so we are working through this together. We are getting through this together. We are helping each other, and that is great to see. Some updated numbers. A few days ago, we spoke to Chief Greg Flynn, and after the show, he sent me some information that's really helpful and gives up-to-date information. So I'm going to put this infographic up on our screen here. Of course, before I do that, I want to just mention that we are broadcasting on both TV and radio, as we always do. TV, we're on Civic Center TV, Comcast, Channel 15, and AT&T, Channel 99. We are also online in HD on civiccentertv.com, so if you want to see just every last pour and you want to see my glasses here in crisp, high-definition condition, go to civiccentertv.com and watch us live. You can also listen to us, of course, on the Big 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com's live stream, and on our partner radio stations, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, and my alma mater, the radio station my career began at, 88.1 WBFH, the Biff. And a big shout out to Ron Whittables over there, their entire staff, and of course the legendary Pete Bowers for his guidance and Randy Carr for his guidance during my time there. Built me up to be able to do something like this. CivicCenterTV.com. We have resources aplenty for you here on CivicCenterTV.com. If you click on our coronavirus page, it'll take you to new, up-to-date information. Our producer, Jeff, he updates this every day. He called me about this earlier and said, hey, I got some new stories up there, great information. Here you can find coronavirus cases by zip code in Oakland County. That is updated. Some national news making headlines. Some colleges are waiving ACT and SAT scores requirements for 2021 applicants. Among those, Williams, Amherst, Boston University, and some bigger universities are also pitching in. Oregon State, Washington, and the University of California. Some other universities have switched from making these requirements to making these optional. Of course, with schools being virtual, standardized testing has to be done in person with a proctor to make sure it's secure and everyone is taking their tests fairly. So some colleges and some universities are relaxing those requirements because unprecedented times, unprecedented measures. Of course, we're all trying to help each other, and that again is something that goes back to that. These colleges helping these students that they know are just trying to do their best to get their education, to learn and to be good citizens, and what better way to help them out than to give them a little bit of relief as we continue to battle this coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. We're going to take a short break. Suzanne Levine is standing by for an interview. We'll talk to her after this. You're listening to and watching the Megacast on the Megacast family of stations, Civic Center TV, and on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 The Biff, and 89. And WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. We will be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Khaldun. I'm the Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The people who are at highest risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 are the elderly and those with chronic medical conditions. That includes people with heart disease, diabetes, COPD, or those who have compromised immune systems. People who are in those categories should right now be staying at home as much as possible and not going out if it is not essential. If you fit into one of those categories, those are the things you should do. And if you have a family member who fits into one of those categories, you should be checking in on them and making sure they are following those guidelines. There's something everyone can do to protect the community from COVID-19.
Hi, I'm Dr. Faust, the Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. The most important thing you can do to prevent the spread of illness is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. Follow these 6 easy steps every time you wash your hands. Step 1, turn on the sink and wet your hands with warm water. Step 2, apply soap to your hands and lather between your fingers, under your nails, and the front and back of your hands and wrists. Step 3, wash your hands by scrubbing them together for at least 20 seconds. Step 4, rinse your hands with warm, clean water. And step 5, dry your hands with a clean cloth towel, a paper towel, or hot air blow dryer. If you're using a cloth towel, make sure to change it often. For handheld faucets, turn off the water using a paper towel instead of your bare hand. Step 6, if you're using a paper towel, throw it away. Practice healthy habits like washing your hands after coughing or sneezing into them to keep you and others healthy. Go to oakgov.com/health or call Nurse on Call at 1-800-848-5533 to learn more.
It's the Megacast on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, and Civic Center TV, as well as our partner stations, WAHS 89.5, Avondale Community Radio, and 88.1 The Biff. I am Tyler Keefe. Welcome back to the Megacast, bringing you local news and information around Oakland County about the people in your community, the services in your community, and the organizations in your community. And that includes, of course, our good friends over at the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. And joining me right now via Zoom is their Executive Director, Suzanne Levine. Suzanne, welcome to the Megacast.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I am good. How are you, Suzanne?
Well, I'm managing like everyone else, trying to stay positive and do what I can to help our community during these very difficult times.
How's your family been holding up? I know that you're very close with your family. You see them very often. In the past, you've mentioned weekend dinners with them. How are you getting through that with them during these times and maintaining your physical distancing?
It's been very difficult, but we've been doing a lot of Zoom. Thank God for Zoom. Someone told me today that their stock has risen like 500%.
I'm not surprised.
I guess that, had we all known, we could have invested in that, right? But, we've been just trying to stay in touch the best that we can, trying to stay safe and make sure that we're not infecting anyone and that sort of thing. Just what everyone else is trying to do to manage to get through these times. And hopefully, although things will probably never really be back the same way, hopefully we can start to reopen business in the next couple months so that not only are we surviving physically, but we can survive economically.
In West Bloomfield, with the businesses that your organization's involved with, I know that the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce really emphasizes networking and communication and helping out each other's businesses. How is that being maintained during this? How are your local businesses that are members in your chamber, how are they holding up, Suzanne?
Well, some of them are really struggling because they really, some of the smaller exercise places, because, they can't do what they normally do where they get people into their establishment. The local restaurants are at least having, quite a bit of, people coming in, and I've been trying to encourage people to go and patronize it. And I know, speaking for myself, I'm really tired of cooking every day. So I'm trying to patronize them as much as possible. But I'm also trying to, reach out individually and connect them to people that they may be able to still do some business. The chamber is also instituting a couple of free programs where we're going to teach a Google class. I'm going to advertise it in an e-blasting website, how to get your name out there, how to learn how to do that, whether it's via YouTube or social media. I'm just trying to do whatever I can to help our local businesses stay vibrant so that when we do finally reopen, however that looks, that they're still around. We need these small local businesses.
We absolutely do. It's vital to our economy. It's vital to our community. They're great community partners. They get involved in the community. I know from working with them through my work at Civic Center TV that they're heavily involved in charitable work and community-oriented work. So keeping them supported is absolutely vital to the continuity of our community. So you mentioned that that the chamber is going to be offering some classes via Google. So who's going to be teaching these classes? Is it going to be local experts from in the chamber? Are you bringing people in?
Well, we partnered with Google. We're one of the few chambers that really jumped on it immediately. We had this fabulous social media expert that's our current vice president, Vito Kukuro. He owns Fox Momentum, and he has been doing all these amazing things on Facebook. I don't know if you've noticed, but anytime a member joins or renews, he makes a little video that he puts on Facebook for them, and on LinkedIn, and on Twitter, and on Instagram. So he's going to be spearheading that because he's the expert. I'm just going to be the medium to offer it. And then from there, we're going to start offering different webinars and breakout sessions for the community. It can be chamber members or not, but I'm really going to try to do whatever I can to give people more information. I mean, every day we know that there's things from the governor and our representatives, about the small business loans and everything else. But I think people need other information because they can get that information if they Google it. I think they need to know how to stay vibrant, how to stay in the public eye. So we're going to start trying to teach these classes. Normally you would do that with our business innovation generator, our big, where we bring in a notable speaker. And Civic Center TV has been great. You've been covering those, but since we can't do those, we're going to figure out another way to get the information to the people that need it. The small business and medium businesses don't have the human resources. They don't have the social media expertise. So we're going to try to offer that to them so that, when we do start to really reopen, we know that business is not going to be the same. And they may have to adopt these new procedures in order to continue doing business in the community.
Information is power, and I know from going to your business innovation generator meetings and from watching our stories on civiccentertv.com from the splash that we've done at those stories, it's very informative and it's very open and it's a communication tool, and it really does seem to help these businesses. I've seen businesses that have been new to the chamber and new to the community that have come to these meetings and learned something, and I've watched them apply it too. So that's really great that that's going on and that your chamber's working to provide that information, because just like anything else, whether it be information on how we are maybe flattening the curve, or how to better physical distance, or better protect yourself from contagions when you're out in the public doing necessary tasks. Information for businesses is absolutely essential. So these classes, you said, they're not just for your chamber members, they're open to anybody that would be interested. If people are interested in participating in these classes or maybe teaching some of them, how can they get in contact with you? How can they get involved?
Well, probably in the next day or so, we're going to put something on the website, www.westbloomfieldchamber.com. I'm going to send out e-blasts, or they can contact me through wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com. They can call me because I do frequently check phone messages, 248-626-3636. But if they email me, that's the best way, wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com. Or again, go to our West Bloomfield chamber.com and get all the information. April 29th is the first class that we're going to be teaching on this, Google My Business. And we're going to have several courses. Google offers these amazing different classes. The first one is going to be, how to spread the word and how to create a YouTube channel and how to get the viewership. And then we'll be teaching other ones. And if people have an idea of something they'd like to learn, I'm more than willing to, listen to it and try to adapt it, because we know, Tyler, just like you have learned, everyone's going to have to reinvent their business. I mean, I've always said that from day one before any of this happened. The old ways of doing business are not necessarily going to work anymore. So we all have to have a strategic plan, and that's where the chamber comes into. We're happy to have a phone conversation or a Zoom conversation about how we can help their businesses adapt to this new brave world, if you want to call it.
It's an absolutely great program. It's a wonderful idea, and I'm sure it's going to really help these businesses. I'm not a businessman myself, but I'm someone that does like to engage in strategic thinking and just thinking in the business's shoes. Information is power. Learning new skills is vital, especially in a day like today where your business really has to go online for the most part unless you have one of those essential services. So
you are in the business. You are in the business of providing information, and how you package that information and how you present it is really important. And Civic Center TV has done a phenomenal job of not only being on the pulse of what's going on locally, but regionally as well. So I want to thank you. I do want to mention one other thing. We just initiated our Unsung Hero program. It went out the other day. I've already have one nominee. Anyone who's nominated is going to win, and we're going to send out an e-blast, and I'm trying to work with some of the local restaurants and businesses to offer this person, maybe a free meal or a gift card or, a discount on services, because these are unsung heroes. It could be obviously our medical professional, but it could be someone in your neighborhood that gets groceries for you because you're unable to go out, or maybe it's a restaurant clerk or someone who brings out the food with a smile to you. So it really could be anyone. And we're hoping to show some appreciation for all these people that really put their lives at risk by serving our community when we really should be staying at home.
They are doing great things, and it's good for us to be recognizing people that are going out of their way in the community to help other people, especially in this time. We've done a kind of a similar sort of thing with our Person of the Week segment on Civic Center TV, and to look into the business community and to help these people who are doing great things for the community while they're also having their own struggles in the meantime too. This is tough for everybody. So if someone wants to get involved and knows somebody that's doing something great and wants to nominate them, what's the process to get that going, to get that information out there, and what is the chamber looking for to really move this program forward and into overdrive?
Well, I think it would be great if we could even partner with you and give you some of these people, sort of send the connection along for them to be Person of the Week. But again, if they go to our website, westbloomfieldchamber.com, if they want to email me directly, that's what someone did immediately when they got the email at wbloomfieldchamber.com and just, wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com. If they just send me the information, we were asking for if they have a picture, that would be great. And so just a little brief description of what this person does, their name and their contact info, and then that's it. I mean, it's that simple, because we know that grateful attitude, equals gratitude. And I think that's what we have to show everyone today. We have to let people know how important they are and what role they're playing in, keeping us all alive, whether it's economically or physically or emotionally. I think it's really important, and that's why we created this program.
Suzanne Levine from the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce on the Megacast on 88.1 WBFH, 89.3 WBLD Lakes FM, and 89.5 WAHS Avondale Community Radio on the Megacast. Suzanne, before I let you go, just one last question. We've mentioned it during this interview. A lot of the business community is struggling during this. You having interacted with businesses of all different success levels throughout your career, throughout your time involved with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, you've seen things that have gone well and things that haven't gone well and how these companies have adapted. So in these trying times, what advice do you have for businesses, not only in Greater West Bloomfield, but all throughout Oakland County and our listening area that may be struggling? What can they do?
Well, I think number one, they have to just be open to reinventing their business and rethinking how they deal with their customers. And we know that an unhappy employee, whoever's in your front line, if they're not happy, they could ruin your business. So I think it's really important for employers to make sure that if they can't pay people, and we know that very few people feel they, are really receiving what they deserve, make sure you express gratitude, however you do it. Whether it's a small token, whether it's a gift card, whether it's a thank you. I think, making sure that your employees know how greatly you appreciate what they're doing every day is really important. And also, making sure that if you're not involved in a chamber, trying to find other ways to think about strategic partners to help you connect. I think that's what separates our chambers, that I'm a business matchmaker, and one of our newest members, Alex Ho with Puroclean Restoration, joined a couple days ago, and I've already connected him to 10 prospective clients just through creative strategic thinking about who would be good for him to meet with. I don't know if any of these will translate to business, but I've certainly tried to do due diligence and think about who would be a good partner for him. So I think my message would be, make sure that you start to rethink about when you reopen, how does that look? How does your business plan look? Figure out who you can talk to about that, and make sure your employees are really treated well. I think that's the most important thing.
I think that's great advice, Suzanne. Thank you very much for saying that. Suzanne Levine of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, she's their executive director, and they're doing great things there. Suzanne, thank you for joining us on the Megacast today.
Thank you again for all you do, Tyler and Dave and Jeff and Larry and anyone I may have forgotten.
Thank you, Suzanne. We appreciate that. That's Suzanne Levine. This is the Megacast on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, as well as on our partnering radio stations throughout the community, 88.1 WBFH, the Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. A great message from Suzanne on her way out, talking about showing appreciation for the people that you work with, for your company, for your employees. I think that's something that doesn't happen enough regularly, and in these times is absolutely vital. So I work with a lot of people here at Motown Digital and Civic Center TV, and we have a whole team that is on this show, working on the show to make this work every single day behind the scenes. It's not just Dave and I in here. So on Dave and my behalf, cannot thank them enough for everything that they do. Suzanne mentioned a few of them. And they do excellent work. They make us look good, and hopefully we make them look good as well. Suzanne did mention Alex Ho from Puroclean in West Bloomfield as someone that she's kind of been helping connect with people and help through this time. We're going to speak to him next about what he's doing in the community. It's some profound stuff. He is heavily involved in keeping our community safe from the coronavirus, but also is helping those who are helping us stay safe as well. Alex Ho coming up next in just a few minutes. This is the Megacast you're watching on Civic Center TV and listening on WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, and of course right here on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com. We'll be right back.
I know you're concerned about the coronavirus, and we're working hard to combat its spread and keep your family safe. But we need your help too. Wash your hands often with soap for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your face and cough into your sleeve. Replace handshakes with an elbow bump. Avoid large crowds or events, and if you're sick, stay home and call your health provider. Every one of us can make a difference limiting the virus's spread and keeping Michigan healthy.
Hello, I'm Dr. Faust, Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. Coronavirus disease 2019, or COVID-19, is a new disease caused by a new respiratory virus named SARS-CoV-2. COVID-19 was first identified in December 2019. There is currently no vaccine to prevent coronavirus disease 2019. The best way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to this virus. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after going to the bathroom, before eating, and after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces using a regular household cleaning spray or wipe. Avoid close contact with people who are sick, and avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash. Finally, stay home when you're sick. For more information about coronavirus disease 2019, go to oakgov.com/health or call 848-5533.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonae Caldoun. We know that COVID-19 is spreading rapidly across Michigan right now. The most important thing people can do to protect themselves is social distancing. That means unless you are a critical infrastructure worker or going out to get food or medicine for your home, you should be staying at home. Stay home, stay safe, save lives.
Thank you, Dr. Jonae Caldoun, the medical executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. This is the Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft, and you are watching on Civic Center TV and listening on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, as well as on our partnering radio stations 89.5 WAHS Avondale Community Radio and 88.1 WBFH, the Biff, in Bloomfield Hills, of course, my alma mater radio station. We thank them all day, every day for how they are helping us spread the good word throughout Oakland County. We are reaching so many places with this Megacast and providing good information to them too. Hopefully we are fulfilling our duty to you, and we hope that you are happy with what we're providing. You can find more information on the coronavirus beyond our Megacast because news breaks all the time. It's not just what we're telling you. And if you want news that's for your community specifically, the best place to go for that when we're not live on the air is to go online to civiccentertv.com/coronavirus for all of those updated stories that are local to your town, to our state, and hopefully we'll keep you informed between our shows. And of course, you can always tune into us Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon on the Megacast, where we'll talk to plenty of interesting guests from all throughout the community. And joining us right now is one of those very interesting guests. We are joined by Alex Ho. He is from Puroclean in West Bloomfield and the owner of Midas Auto Service in West Bloomfield. Alex, welcome to the Megacast.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for making the time for me.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. We've had you on our shows before. We've had you on Parenting on the Go a ways back, and you're always very nice to talk to you and always have good information for us. So, Alex, you run Puroclean out of West Bloomfield, and right now they are dealing with helping to sanitize businesses and areas that are affected by the coronavirus. Can you kind of just go into what that kind of process is to keep our areas safe?
Yeah, absolutely. You use the word sanitize, and it's so important this day and age when companies, my company and my fellow companies in the industry, handle everything in the right way. And right off the bat, sanitization of the virus of COVID-19 as we know it is it's unclear on exactly how to do that. And when we're approached with any customer that has a need, the correct terminology that we give them, and all I can give them as an owner, is we apply an EPA registered disinfectant. Applying a disinfectant, as you can understand, is different than disinfecting, right? Applying is doing it the right way, following the label, making sure that you're doing it in a way that's safe for the customer as well as your employees. And if you're doing all those things, those chemicals are tested by the EPA under their strict guidelines in a laboratory that they will. So for instance, some of our chemicals kill tuberculosis in 5 minutes. They kill HIV. They've killed other families of coronavirus. Other members of the family of coronaviruses. So that's what we can do. And what I'm trying to do for most of our customers have been commercial accounts such as regional banks, regional retail stores. What I'm trying to do is give them peace of mind by knowing that a professional company is going to come in and handle it. Having two different businesses, an auto repair shop, and then a professional cleaning service, I can kind of stand in both worlds and understand how each world will feel. As an auto repair owner, I'm right now asking my employees to professionally clean for a virus that there's no vaccine for, which is in some ways an impossible task. And so that's what, unfortunately, most businesses are doing. They're asking their manager, they're asking their assistant manager, they're asking their maintenance crew to do something that, quite honestly, they don't really know how to do. And so what my company is trying to do is come in and say, we have the employees that are going to wear the proper PPE. We have the chemicals, not to embellish it, but these are chemicals that the everyday person cannot buy online at Walmart, at Home Depot, anywhere. These are industrial grade products. We know how to use them properly. Not everybody knows that Lysol needs to sit on a surface for 10 minutes. Up until I got into this business, I was using Lysol, cleaning my toilets at home, my shower, spraying it and wiping it and leaving. And I was done in 5 minutes. I was trying to enjoy my weekend. Not everybody knows that you're supposed to spray it, let it dwell for 10 minutes, and then go in and wipe it. And even before you do that, there's a procedure to even clean the surface of any surface grime and dust. So our team knows the proper procedures to use these chemicals. They're also aware of the risks and their proper PPE. And so we're doing it in a way that gives the best peace of mind for everybody involved, while also being realistic about the limitations of the service. So that's what we're trying to do.
So on that, you say you have employees that are doing these cleanings, and they do know the proper procedures. What kind of training did they undergo to be able to do this properly and do this safely, both for them and, of course, for the businesses and the places that you're providing this cleaning for?
Yeah, so there is so the interesting thing about our industry, and speaking about Puroclean, the restoration industry, we're dealing with hazardous materials, whether it's black mold, which, different types of mold can be carcinogenic. We're dealing with bloodborne pathogens when we're in a homicide cleanup. We're dealing with all sorts of hazardous chemicals. And the crazy thing about it is none of it is governed by any sort of government agency, the EPA, the DEQ, except in some states, I believe New York and California. But in every other state like Michigan, there's no real certification. There's no real government agency making sure that companies are licensed and by a particular government agency. There is, however, the IICRC, which is a third party. They're actually an international association, and they basically govern how to clean. And so this is what professional companies like my own subscribe to, that I'm a member of, that I take tests for, that I have continuing educations for. And my employees, when they reach a certain level of management, that they are also need to take these tests and be certified. And so these cover everything from cleaning simple carpets to how to clean a home for soot, to how to remediate mold, and then also how to clean up crime scenes, bloodborne pathogens. And so it's, we take from these different courses that all discuss how to clean for bacterias, what disinfections are, sterilants, sanitizers. We take all of that understanding, all those certifications, and we apply it to cleaning for this virus. Knowing that you can only clean a surface if it doesn't have any of that surface debris, reading the label properly, using, there's different types of foggers, there's dry foggers, there's ULV foggers, there's ways to mist. All these little nuances matter, and these are all things that we're cognizant of.
And cleaning these areas, your team's obviously being right on the front lines. They're in a place that may contain coronavirus, and on top of that, containing these potentially harmful chemicals if they're not utilized properly, or if they are exposed to them in a negative way. So how are you how are you ensuring that your staff is keeping safe while they're cleaning, during the cleaning and then after the clean?
Yeah, it's so you're obviously you equip your team to clean for what we're trying to clean for, which is the virus, and then also the chemical. You made a really good point there. The suits, the masks, the gloves, the shoe covers, the tape that we use to seal the suit. Those are to seal us away from the virus, but also the chemicals that we're spraying. And so we wear full-faced respirators. There's filters for them. Everybody knows about N95, right? And basically, there's N, there's O, there's P filters, and those letters all stand for, can they filter out a certain level of oil, of different particulates, and then the 95 is the percentage of those particulates that it can filter out. So for instance, when we're doing a cleaning for COVID, we are wearing P100 filters. And so, we have the mask, then we've got those filters right there. And there's different filters. There's filters that are for organic vapor. Those are ones that really filter out smells, because some of the chemicals that we're using don't smell really nice, at least when they're first applied, and dwelled afterwards, they dissipate. But we wear those. So depending on the chemical, we're wearing different types of P100 filters. Then we're obviously in that, that full suit as well. It's typically like a Tyvek coverall. And then we have, 5mm nitrile gloves. Then we're wearing shoe covers. And then we're duct taping everything closed. And then the most important thing is also where you put it on and where you take it off. We call in the industry, it's called donning and doffing the PPE, taking it on and putting it on and taking it off. And you want to do that in a way that you're not recontaminating the space. You want to do it so that you're taking off everything, gloves and respirator last, so that as you take it off, you're not contaminating yourself with what's on them. So PPE it's back to the basics when we're sending our guys into the field. Every one of my employees, my lead techs, all have 10 plus years in the experience, and they are, just like, LeBron James shoots free throws every day. I have them practicing donning and doffing PPE on a daily basis.
And that's good. And that's exactly what they should be doing, especially in these times. So, taking on all that advice that you're giving, all that insight, I got to go around and do a better job cleaning the studio here. We wipe it down every day before the show, and we wipe it down after and all of that. But taking all that advice, we'll do a much better deep clean. I'm obviously not an expert, but we'll do a much better job of that going forward to keep our studios clean, because it might just be Dave and I normally in here and occasionally one of our other guys, but it's still, the potential is always there. But to backpedal a little bit, obviously you're doing these cleanings we've talked about during the coronavirus outbreak. In normal times, what kind of cleaning does your company do for local businesses, local areas, and how does that differ from the cleaning process now during this viral outbreak?
So we're 99.99% of our business, when things go back to normal, in normal times, so weird to say that, is restoration, water, fire, mold remediation, and like I said, biohazard, which happens to do with homicides and accidental deaths, cleaning the scene after the body's been removed. And so, you take a simple, when it comes to our water damage services, that's going to be a sump pump that fails in a basement. And so you have, groundwater getting inside of a basement, and, it reaches, maybe it's not standing water and the floor is just damp, or you got a foot of water in your basement now, and, your water heater's damaged, and all those precious belongings that you have are all soaked. That's really our core service right there, those water damages. And after we go in, so first thing we do is, IICRC states when you go in to address a water damage is get rid of the standing water. So we're getting that 1 foot of water out. We're getting rid of we're separating the contents, making sure the personal belongings that can be disposed of or should be, because after a certain amount of time, as the water dwells, it's going to start to develop MVOCs, which are that musty odor, and those are what can cause. That's where bacteria and viruses can begin to grow and cause affect humans negatively. And so once we get rid of that standing water, because you don't want those things to develop, then we come in with a lot of these same disinfectants that we're using right now. To be honest, most of the I'm using chemicals and disinfectants interchangeably. Most of the disinfectants that we're using right now are the same one for the virus, are the same ones that we've always been using. They are industrial, they are commercial. They can, like I said, they can kill TB in 5 minutes. There's products that we use that are completely green. They're thyme-based, THYME, thyme, that plant. You can drink it. And so what we've done, though, is there's what's called an N list, N for Nancy. And that's a list of basically types of chemicals that the CDC believes to have efficacy against the virus. And so a lot of the chemicals that we've been using, a lot of the disinfectants chemicals that we've been using, some have made its way onto the N list. Some are still waiting to be, and I won't get into how they're registered and their sub numbers, and it gets a little legalese complicated. But a lot of the chemicals that we're using in the past are on the N list, and we're only using products that are on the N list.
So there are some differences, but a lot of similarities too between cleaning and restoration in normal times, so to speak, and in times of coronavirus. So Alex, you mentioned earlier you're not just involved with Puroclean. You also own Midas Auto Service Repair is that on Orchard Lake Road in West Bloomfield? Is that one?
Yes, yep, Maple and Orchard Lake.
Yeah, I pass that all the time on my way home. Good. I was hoping I had that right. So Alex, how is business during this time? I mean, obviously auto repairs to some extent may be essential. If you have to get to work and your car is breaking down, you got to get that done. But is your business declared essential, and how is business during this time?
Yes, so our business is declared essential. Under the FBI CISA Act, or it may not be the FBI, but it is the CISA Act by, I think, maybe Homeland Security. I'm sorry, it's just with all this, you're getting inundated with everything now. It's a lot of what we're doing is, the doctors, the Hungry Howie's driver, no one obviously anticipated this virus, and nobody got their oil changed ahead of it. Nobody got those squeaky brakes done. Nobody, that leaky tire that they said it would go away is still leaky. And so we're having a lot of these customers that have had deferred maintenance come in. We're not getting customers that come in and go, hey, I've been waiting to get my transmission fluid changed. I heard that's what I need to do at 75,000 miles. Those preventative services we're not seeing. But we're seeing customers that are coming in with actual repairs that they need to have done because what they're doing is essential. And so we're helping them help everybody. And so that's why we're open. Business is definitely down in terms of in volume because we don't have that other just retail side of it, which is a big chunk. But what we're doing every day is helping first responders, like I said, helping those Hungry Howie's delivery drivers. And we are also offering free oil changes to first responders, doctors, nurses, as well as those who donate PPE. If you donate PPE, call us and we'll give you a free oil change. You deserve it. Wow. Everybody needs it, and we're going to do everything we can to help you.
That's absolutely fantastic that you're doing that, especially for those people on the front lines and those that are helping people out. We're encouraging people to help other people out, especially those that are right on the front lines and trying to keep people alive. So thank you very much for doing that, Alex. You talked about how your business is holding up. How are your workers holding up? Are they okay during this?
They're doing well. Every day we're making sure that, temperatures are checked. If we had a scare with one of our employees. Their daughter was had a fever, and so that employee didn't come in. And, he basically self-quarantined himself. Everybody is rightfully so worried. And so we're just doing everything we can to make sure that our employees feel safe when they're working. There's a need for, speaking for, Puroclean, there's a need for our services. When a house has a flood, there's a need for our services, and we need to be there. It's when we put on that shirt and we decide to come into this industry, we take on that responsibility. The person working at Target isn't all of a sudden going to become a water technician and is going to be able to fix a flooded basement, right? It's our duty to handle these tasks. And so we're doing it in a responsible manner that our employees feel safe. And we're doing everything we can. We're following the news, following what the federal government is telling us to do to do the right thing for our customers and also our employees' health and safety and their family members. Our employees, they're encouraged every day to disinfect their vehicle with our professional services. They're encouraged to bring home disinfectants to their house so they can decon their home. So we're doing what we can to make sure our employees feel safe, because only when they're safe are they able to be comfortable to do their work.
So you do this, your company does this, you know this. For people like me, just the regular guy going home every day that isn't a professional cleaner, what advice do you have for us that we can do to keep our surfaces safe, our homes safe, our cars safe during this time?
Stay at home. Stay at home, and you obviously will not contract the virus. If you absolutely have to leave, come up with a game plan for when you come into the home, what you're going to do with your clothes, what you're going to do with any surfaces you may have touched, your credit card. Have a plan before you leave. Know that everything you do is going to be 2 times slower from now on. Dumping your garbage is not 30 seconds anymore. It's like 15 minutes, between dumping the garbage, taking it out to the, when you're outside, it's 30 seconds before, but, after you've dumped that garbage, ensure that you're washing your hands for, the required 30 seconds, that you're wiping down that door handle that when you first walked in, that your clothes are going to be cleaned afterwards. But first and foremost is follow Governor Whitmer's executive orders to stay home.
Alex Ho from Puroclean and Midas Auto Service in West Bloomfield, thank you for joining us today on the Megacast, Alex.
Thank you for your time. Take care. Thank you. Please be safe.
Thank you. You too. Alex Ho from Puroclean and Midas Auto Service in West Bloomfield on the Megacast on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, as well as on our partnering radio stations on WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio and on 88.1 The Biff. So here we have Alex. We have his companies both doing their part to help people in our community to get the word out and to help those that are helping us, the first responders, those on the front lines, those working in the hospitals, helping to keep people who may have coronavirus or are fighting it safe and keeping these communities safe as well in the process. It's a great story, and it's excellent what Alex's company is doing, and it's excellent what he and other businesses and other businesses in the community are doing to help other people and to get out into the community and make sure that during this tough time we're doing whatever we can to keep everybody else's spirits up as much as we possibly can do so. So we got a lot more coming up on the show. We're just shy of the top of the hour, but after the top of the hour, I'm going to talk to one of our good friends from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Chief Greg Flynn will join me and tell me how he and his team are supporting those on the front lines. You are watching and listening to the Megacast on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. We'll be back in just a few.
The Centers for Disease Control and Oakland County Health Division encourages households to prepare for the possibility of a coronavirus outbreak in their community. Keep extra items in your house for an extended stay at home. Remember any special food items for babies, the elderly, and pets. Keep non-prescription drugs and other health supplies on hand, such as personal medications, at least 1 month's supply, first aid kits, alcohol-based hand sanitizer, at least 60% alcohol, non-mercury thermometer, and get copies and maintain electronic versions of health records. Talk with family members about how they would be cared for if they got sick and what would be needed to care for them in your home. Learn about the plan at your child's school and your workplace. Discuss sick leave policies and/or telework options for workers who become ill. For more information, go to oakgov.com/health or call our Nurse on Call hotline at 1-800-848-5533.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Caldoun. We know that COVID-19 is spreading rapidly across Michigan right now. The most important thing people can do to protect themselves is social distancing. That means unless you are a critical infrastructure worker or going out to get food or medicine for your home, you should be staying at home. Stay home, stay safe, save lives.
Stay home, stay safe, save lives. Dr. Jonay Caldoun, Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. I'm Tyler Kieft. Welcome back to the Megacast on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, and of course on Civic Center TV and CivicCenterTV.com. We're about 5 minutes from the top of the hour, where we'll be joined in the next hour by Chief Greg Flynn of the West Bloomfield Fire Department, as well as people from the Pine Lake Country Club and the Michigan Brewers Guild. My apologies. We'll have people from all throughout Oakland County, all throughout the state, with different areas of expertise joining us in the next hour. But before that, I just want to go back into CivicCenterTV.com's website, a comprehensive page of information from all over Oakland County. Look at all these resources here. You got national resources, state, county resources, and then all these individual communities that we're covering with this Megacast. You can go to any one of these for information from your town. So let's say you're one of our friends over in Rochester. You click on the Rochester button, it takes you to rochestermi.org, the homepage, and it has specific updates from the city of Rochester, from your hometown. You can go back and do the same thing for other communities. I hit the back button. Now let's go to Keego Harbor. It'll take you to keegoharbor.org and their additional information regarding COVID-19. It truly is a comprehensive website with plenty of information and articles as well. Updated articles. We are on top of this every single day. Our web team does a fantastic job of providing you the most up-to-date information possible regarding the coronavirus in our community. We had a large protest yesterday in the state capitol. They have an article up about that with lots of details on what went on during the Operation Gridlock protests downtown in Lansing outside the Capitol. And then this locally, I know this has affected people in West Bloomfield and in the four communities that Civic Center TV and Lakes FM normally covered. Green for Life Environmental has resumed yard waste collection and reversed their earlier decision, which was, of course, to suspend yard waste collection because they were at capacity. And there's so much yard waste because everybody's at home. They're taking care of their yards. They're occupying their time, and they can only take on so much yard waste, but there's still a need for it. And so they, of course, have come back and reversed their decision. That news broke just about 24 hours ago, just under 24 hours ago, of course, from the Oakland Press. And we have news from all other resources from throughout the Oakland County area. The big news today is Pontiac is going to be begin getting their tests for COVID-19 at the Oakland County campus. They're beginning drive-through testing for the coronavirus for first responders, essential business employees, and Pontiac residents who display symptoms. Of course, Pontiac being hit very hard by this, and with them being right in the city where the Oakland County offices are, that drive-in service is going to be first for them. Now, Oakland County earlier on in the week in a press conference, Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter did assure this is not only for Pontiac. The reason that they are first in line in this case is because of the immediate need for testing in that highly affected community of Pontiac. Another resource that we actually have on here from Oakland County is, and I'll see if I can pull that up real quick, is their great map that they have that shows cases by zip code in Oakland County. So here that is right here. I'll click on that and open that up. Another comprehensive tool that can be used by you and by anybody else to see how is the coronavirus affecting your community. And if you see here in Pontiac, we scroll in just a little bit and zoom in on that city, on the city of Pontiac. It is in this area that has a very high concentration of positive cases, and even the neighboring communities, Bloomfield Township, West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, Waterford, Auburn Hills. The severity is ranging from close to just behind that, but Pontiac right in the thick of things in Oakland County, right by the Oakland County offices. So they're the first in line on top of course, the essential workers and the first responders who are absolutely in need of these services. So testing has begun. If you do feel symptoms, you are urged to first call your primary care doctor. And if you do not have a primary care doctor, you can't get in contact with them. Another way to take care of that would be to use county resources. They have resources on the county website that will help you get in contact with a doctor that can help you determine whether or not you need to get tested, because the people that are going to get tested are first going to be those that absolutely need a test for the coronavirus. And we'll talk more about that as we go along, and how we're progressing in battling this here in Oakland County, particularly in West Bloomfield, Kegel Harbor, Orchard Lake, and Sylvan Lake, when we will shortly be joined, of course, by the fire chief in West Bloomfield, Greg Flynn. We'll take a short break. We'll come back with a little bit more, and then hopefully soon we'll be joined by Fire Chief Greg Flynn. You are listening to and watching the Megacast on Civic Center TV, Comcast Channel 15, and AT&T Channel 99 in West Bloomfield, Kegel Harbor, Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, and neighboring areas. You're also listening to our partnering radio stations, 88.1 WBFH, Bloomfield Hills, WAHS, Auburn Hills, Avondale Community Radio, WAHS 89.5, Avondale Community Radio. And we'll be right back in just a moment here on 89.3 WBLD, Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, Kegel Harbor, Sylvan Lake, 89.3 Lakes FM, live streaming online at lakesfm.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonae Caldoun. I'm the Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The people who are at highest risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 are the elderly and those with chronic medical conditions. That includes people with heart disease, diabetes, COPD, or those who have compromised immune systems. People who are in those categories should right now be staying at home as much as possible and not going out if it is not essential. If you fit into one of those categories, those are the things you should do. And if you have a family member who fits into one of those categories, you should be checking in on them and making sure they are following those guidelines. There's something everyone can do to protect the community from COVID-19.
Hi, I'm Dr. Faust, the Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. The most important thing you can do to prevent the spread of illness is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. Follow these 6 easy steps every time you wash your hands. Step 1, turn on the sink and wet your hands with warm water. Step 2, apply soap to your hands and lather between your fingers, under your nails, and the front and back of your hands and wrists. Step 3, wash your hands by scrubbing them together for at least 20 seconds. Step 4, rinse your hands with warm, clean water. And step 5, dry your hands with a clean cloth towel, a paper towel, or hot air blow dryer. If you're using a cloth towel, make sure to change it often. For handheld faucets, turn off the water using a paper towel instead of your bare hand. Step 6, if you're using a paper towel, throw it away. Practice healthy habits like washing your hands after coughing or sneezing into them to keep you and others healthy. Go to oakgov.com/health or call Nurse on Call at 1-800-848-5533 to learn more.
The Megacast on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, WAHS 89.5, Avondale Community Radio, and Civic Center TV. Just in our second hour of the show, I'm Tyler Kieft, welcoming you in if you're just joining us, or if you've been with us, thanking you for continuing to be with us on our program today. We're going to be joined here in just a moment by someone who is on the front lines and has a team on the front lines helping to keep our community safe during the COVID-19 outbreak. But before we do that, we had something very interesting and really profound happen in the community yesterday, where our first responders, in solidarity with our frontline workers at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, first responders from West Bloomfield and throughout the county area came together at the hospital to drive a lap around Henry Ford West Bloomfield in a show of solidarity with our frontline workers at the hospital, showing that, hey, the first responders, we're the first responders, you're the second responders, and we are there with you. Our communities stand with you, and we thank you. And it was a great showing of support for those who are putting their lives on the line, who are under tremendous stress and seeing a lot of really tough things to see as they continue to fight COVID-19 right in our backyard here in West Bloomfield, just up the street from our station here at Lakes FM at Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road and Orchard Lake in West Bloomfield. They're doing great work, and we appreciate them, as do our friends over at the West Bloomfield Fire Department, who now join us via Zoom on the Megacast. We are joined by Greg Flynn and a couple of paramedics with him as well. Chief, welcome to the show.
Tyler, good to be with you. I hope you can hear us okay. You can hear a call for help going out in the township right now behind us, so it might be a little hard to hear us. But today, things look a little different. I'm joined today by paramedic firefighter Ryan Glasshauser and paramedic firefighter Jeremy Adkins behind me. We're not able to honor our social distancing here. That's why you see us all in our face coverings and our surgical masks here as part of our infectious disease control program here inside the fire department. But you can see the backdrop here at Fire Station 5, the engine and the rescue that both Ryan and Jeremy are on. And I thought it'd be really good for folks within the community to meet some of the first responders that are responding to these COVID positive patients that need our help throughout the community.
Yeah, it's great to meet you. Thank you on behalf of our community and our surrounding areas for the work that all three of you are doing to help keep us safe and to help spread the good word as well about what we can do individually and as families and as businesses in the community to keep ourselves and our neighbors safe as well. So there's a new health order that was put in place this week by Oakland County. It'll go into effect on April 27th. It's going to require essential workers to wear masks and gloves and protect themselves. What are some of those? What are those requirements going to be? What is that going to look like? You and your team, Chief Flynn, are a great example of that right now. Can you go into some detail about what that will entail?
Well, I can tell you that one of the things that our firefighter paramedics are doing right now, and I've described before, and you can't see all of it behind us, but they've definitely set up a what's called a hot zone and a cold zone already within the workplace here. And the idea behind that is that there's going to be some spots where people that like these folks, like our medics that are going out in a let's say a care facility where there are sick patients, and they've walked through areas where maybe people have been coughing and sneezing. They come back and they decon their shoes and they go through a lot of process to make sure that we keep the disease out of our workplace, out of their home for 24 hours when they're working in the fire station. But I think when you talk about what it's going to look like if you're an employee at a local business or something along those lines, that, yeah, you're going to probably, you could potentially be met by a receptionist that has on a face covering. I think you're going to see some pretty stylish face coverings develop as things get a little bit more comfortable with what they're wearing out there.
It'll definitely be interesting. I've seen some interesting face masks, homemade face masks already, and going around town. So I'm sure there'll be much more interesting makeshift PPE that people will be using throughout the community. As always, it's been a few days since we've last spoke, and now we have the perspective of both the chief and a couple of firefighters here as well. How is the community doing in West Bloomfield and in the Tri-Cities and the surrounding area with keeping up with the stay-at-home order requirements and the social distancing, physical distancing, and how is our community just in general keeping up with all this?
Tyler, I think the community's doing a great job of following through, but really, I think what we'd like to do is hear from, maybe talk to a little bit from Ryan here about the things that he's seen when he's out on a call, for example, going into a home or some of the things that we're asking people to do when they call 911 and how responsive our community has been. Like, I know one of the things that the medics like to have dispatch ask, and what dispatch is doing a great time. By the way, this is Dispatch Appreciation Week, and we want to give a shout out to all of our West Bloomfield dispatchers. But we're actually looking at asking that person to walk to the front door and greet the medics at the front door so that they don't have to make entry into the home and have further exposure. We're having our engine companies stage outside where they would normally walk in, and you'd see 4 of these paramedics walk into your house. The engine companies are staying outside, those 2 medics on the fire engine, and then the medics on the rescue would go in and start the assessment. If they need additional help, then those 2 other medics will come in. But what we're doing is we're limiting the exposure of our field providers.
So Firefighter Atkins, Firefighter Glasshauser, either of you, when you are going on a call like this, what is your approach to it to keep yourself safe, but also to keep the people that you will be treating as safe as possible as well?
Well, when we go in, we have our masks on, our N95 masks, and then face shield, gloves, and then as soon as we make contact with the patient, we'll put a surgical mask on them just to keep them from projecting any kind of, if they cough or sneeze, to keep from contaminating us with that.
Are there any other further precautions that you're encouraging residents that may have to make a call to take before you get there, when you are there, and after firefighters and paramedics may leave?
I missed the question.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that they're looking at there is what you're talking about, Tyler, is sometimes we get to a patient that may be symptomatic. So they have the cough, and what we've been saying on our messaging is, if you are symptomatic, you have a cough, you may get a little concerned and you call 911. The medics will come in and they'll do an assessment. And I think from there, Ryan, part of Tyler's question is, if we're advising someone to stay at home, what are some of the things that you encourage them to watch for? So if they do need to call 911 and the medics need to come back and take them.
Certainly, yeah. One of our main focuses is making sure they're not having trouble breathing, monitoring their fevers and their symptoms, and making sure those symptoms aren't getting worse. If their symptoms are getting worse, or they feel like they need to be treated at a hospital, that's certainly something that they are advised to do and to call us back. We're trying to assess them to make sure that we don't have people going to the hospital that don't necessarily need to be there. But that's part of the hard part, because people are still having heart attacks and still having seizures and still having reasons to go to the emergency department.
So all 3 of you are doing great work. All of our first responders are, and so are the people on the front lines in the hospitals treating patients. We showed a video as we rolled into this interview about the solidarity lap that the fire department participated in yesterday with other first responders in the local area. When did this come together, and how was it moved to be organized?
Sure. So one of the things that we want to acknowledge is really the stressors that are happening, not just here in the engine house. And these guys appreciate we have signage out front where some residents have put thank you signs out in front of all of our fire stations. The delivery of some meals to the fire stations, all of that has been overwhelming. Well, we recognize that our healthcare providers in the hospital, who have been the same healthcare providers that have tested first responders that have become symptomatic, they've given them priority testing so we can assure that our paramedics like Ryan and Jeremy that are going into our nursing homes, our group homes, our independent living facilities, that they're not taking COVID with them. And so by having that testing taking place for symptomatic first responders, Henry Ford has been right out front with that with us. And we couldn't be more grateful for what they're doing for that. So we, along with our friends from police departments, from Orchard Lake and Kego, from Troy to Oakland County Sheriff, from fire departments, from Highland Township to Farmington Hills, to Bloomfield Township, Southfield, all over. We come together and we surround that hospital with our appreciation. We turn on our lights to shine and highlight the great care that they're providing to those patients. And we turn on our sirens as a cheer, as an acknowledgement to keep up that good work that they're doing inside of that hospital, and give them, no different than cheering on a basketball team or a football team to a victory. That's exactly what we're trying to do with that Solidarity Lab. And these guys are instrumental in being the ones that are in those trucks that are out there surrounding the hospital for that quick lap. But every day, these are the faces of the people that are out there delivering that care and delivering the sickest of those folks to the hospital, to the folks at Henry Ford and other hospitals in Oakland County.
Chief Greg Flynn of the West Bloomfield Fire Department, joined by firefighters Glasshauser and Atkins on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, 88.1 The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio on the Megacast, also on Civic Center TV. So you all work very closely and interactively getting these patients to the hospitals with these frontline workers. How are they doing? How are they keeping up? And have you spoken to them lately?
So we'll just talk a little bit about how you guys are doing inside the engine house and what the feel is for things inside the engine house in between calls and in the evening.
Yeah, there's definitely an increased stress that comes along with our daily job here. The first few hours of our day consist of meetings and a lot of deep cleaning. So day after day, we pretty much treat our trucks and our station like it's an operating room, going around deconning, and we try to continue that all the way until we get home, so we're not bringing anything into our homes as well.
I would assume it's a very tough time for you as it is for a lot of people who are essential workers out there. How do you keep the morale up? How do you keep your spirits up during this really trying and tough time?
Do you guys want to take that?
Well, we're jokesters, so we like to play like pranks, and we all have the same kind of personality. So our conversation at the fire station is what keeps us happy.
You're all jokesters. I'm a jokester too. That's where I come. That's where my background is. So I appreciate that. I know that in the office here we do something similar. We're always joking around and messing with each other in between shows as well as we're bringing in all this information. So it is very helpful to keep spirits high in any way that you possibly can. So firefighters Glasshauser and Atkins, Chief Flynn, anything else you'd like to say to the community before we go?
Do you guys have anything you want to share with the community?
The community is doing a good job. Just keep following the rules. We'd appreciate it. I know all the nurses at the hospitals, and just think about everybody that it affects if you're not following the rules. It seems to be working, and we'll all get through this if everybody keeps doing what they're supposed to do.
Tyler, I think Ryan summed it up very well there in highlighting the role that the community plays in stopping the community spread. Again, we just underscored the importance of what are such simple things like washing your hand and covering a cough and keeping some social distancing when you can. And when you can't keep that social distancing because you work with healthcare providers and emergency services providers like these two gentlemen who go above and beyond the call every single day, we take precautions. We wear our face masks. We wear the high-grade N95 masks when they're treating high-risk patients. They come back and use the hand sanitizer. All the things that we encourage our residents to do, these guys are doing the same thing. They just do a little bit more of it, as Ryan had highlighted about some of the deconning and disinfecting, because they're just overly exposed to it. But those are the same things we want them to do. And again, as we wrap up here, Tyler, again, I want to highlight the importance of our 911 operators, our dispatchers. They are the first line in the defense as far as our response goes, with the important questions that they ask those that are sick, injured, or scared that are calling for help. Even on our fire calls for an odor investigation, our dispatchers are doing an excellent job of screening those calls so that our our firefighters and paramedics aren't walking into a house that has symptomatic folks. Guess what? We're still coming. Even if you're symptomatic, we're still coming. That just gives us a heads up, so we're better prepared to serve those that need us most.
Chief Flynn, firefighters, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for what you're doing to help keep us informed, but also to keep us safe every day out there in our community and throughout the area.
All right, thank you, Tyler.
Chief Greg Flynn and firefighters Glasshouser and Atkins on the Megacast, coming to us from fire station in West Bloomfield. All three of them. In the background, they're getting calls all throughout the day, and they're taking them with high spirits and with their expertise, and they're doing a great job. They're showing their appreciation just like we are for those who are working hard to keep our community safe in the front lines, keeping other people who are in danger really safe, and trying to do their best to make sure that anybody that is affected with COVID-19 is getting the treatment that they need in our community, and anybody that may need to get special treatments are going to be handled safely, are going to be handled with care and with grace as well. So we thank them for all that they're doing. And we thank the dispatchers who are helping families throughout the community and people throughout the community get the care that they need in a safe way for both them, the patients, and for those on the front lines, the first responders who are going to be going to those homes and picking these people up and taking them where they need to go. And they're not sure what they're getting into necessarily. And getting that information from the dispatchers is absolutely key. So we thank them so much for everything that they're doing. We're going to take a short break. When we come up, a local country club's doing their part to help those on the front lines. We'll speak to someone from one of those teams on the Megacast you're watching on Civic Center TV and listening on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. We will be right back.
I know you're concerned about the coronavirus, and we're working hard to combat its spread and keep your family safe. But we need your help too. Wash your hands often with soap for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your face and cough into your sleeve. Replace handshakes with an elbow bump. Avoid large crowds or events, and if you're sick, stay home and call your health provider. Every one of us can make a difference limiting the virus's spread and keeping Michigan healthy.
Hello, I'm Dr. Faust, Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. Coronavirus disease 2019, or COVID-19, is a new disease caused by a new respiratory virus named SARS-CoV-2. COVID-19 was first identified in December 2019. There is currently no vaccine to prevent coronavirus disease 2019. The best way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to this virus. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after going to the bathroom, before eating, and after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces using a regular household cleaning spray or wipe. Avoid close contact with people who are sick, and avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash. Finally, stay home when you're sick. For more information about coronavirus disease 2019, go to oakgov.com/health or call 1-800-848-5533.
The Megacast on Civic Center TV and broadcasting on the radio all throughout the community on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio out of Auburn Hills. All those community radio stations with great programming throughout the day, great music too. We've talked about that time after time here on the Megacast, how great their music is, competes with us. And after those messages, those public service announcements from the county and from the state, I just got to do a little bit of cleaning in here. Wipe this down. Got a new wipe out of there. I'm trying to keep in mind of what a good friend Alex Ho we had on earlier said about wiping down surfaces and keeping the chemicals on there as advantageously as possible, so keeping the studio clean. I'll put that back over there for now just for safekeeping, and we'll continue on. For the last little bits of our show today, we are joined now on the Megacast via Zoom by someone from Pine Lake Country Club. His name's Eric Avila. He is the executive chef at Pine Lake Country Club, and they are doing some great work over there during the coronavirus outbreak. So, Eric, my first question for you, how are you doing? How are you keeping up during this coronavirus outbreak?
I'm doing good. It's different, but, we got a small skeleton crew at work. We got, like the firefighters said, I want to thank them and thank all the first responders for everything. But like you said, we get in, we wipe everything down, we sanitize everything, and we do it often throughout the day. Same thing goes when you go home. As soon as you go home, you jump in the shower, you get cleaned up, so you're not carrying any potential virus on you.
With the recent executive orders and stay-at-home order, country clubs are obviously being affected. How is business going for you? Is that being affected? And what ways are your team modifying what they would do in normal times to try to keep business up?
So normally we'd be fully open now. I mean, we just had Easter. That was a big one for us. But instead of having members come in and eat here, we started doing carry out 3 days a week. We also did Easter carryouts. We set up a butcher block with raw meat where we're cutting steaks in house and just bagging them up so they can pick that up, because I know meat, ground beef, and stuff is hard to find at the grocery store. So we just want to make it easier for them. And we're also doing we'll go to the grocery store or the pharmacy for some of our elderly members, just so they don't have to go out and be exposed.
That's excellent. Helping people in the community beyond, you're an executive chef, you lead the team there, but beyond cooking meals and feeding people, helping other people in the community in any way that your team possibly can. Thank you very much for that. That's a great idea, and I can't speak for everyone, but I do appreciate that work that you and your team are doing in the community to help other people. So you're taking out these meals, doing takeout meals 3 days a week. We'll have to get you in contact again with our producer, Jeff, who's also leading our carryout club, and get the country club's information on there, see what we can do to help you guys out, spread the good word on what you're doing, providing meals to the community. So your team's working hard and has shifted focus now from obviously from helping business and selling meals to also helping those on the front lines. Can you tell us a little bit about what your team has been doing lately to help those frontline workers stay well fed while they're fighting the coronavirus?
Well, I know they're probably getting very few breaks, and they're hungry and tired, and it's just something we could do. Our board donated the money for it. We want to thank them for doing that. We had our president, Mr. Sarkeesian, and Mr. Reddy and Mr. Finity, who went and helped deliver them. We have our guy Chris and my general manager Greg Colombo, who helped deliver those meals. It was just something, just a healthier meal. It was quinoa, chicken, and broccoli, which doesn't sound like much, but when, a lot of healthcares are like to eat healthier. So when you're, just eating what you can, it's a good meal to just pop in and heat up and just go with it.
And your team delivered 400 meals. I can't make this, I can't stress this enough, 400 meals to these first responders at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. What was the reaction to receiving that many meals?
I actually wasn't down there at the hospital when we did it. We were still doing our carryouts here, but I think it was, was greatly appreciated. And then, we greatly appreciate what they're doing. They're risking their health and being on the front lines with the nurses, the doctors, the hospital staff, the firefighters, police, whoever. And we're just doing what we can to help. It's what's going to get us through this is everybody helping each other.
It is. Everyone helping each other is exactly what's going to help get all of us through this. It's a tough time, and we have to all adapt. So where did the idea for this come and how did it build into fruition, obviously this week with the 400 meals being delivered?
Our general manager, we work closely with a lot of hospitals here. There's a lot of, some of them have some members or doctors so our general manager had the idea, hey, let's feed them, let's do that. And then after that I talked to some of our vendors. We had my good friend Emmett Barata at Fairway Packing Co., Paul Jelinek at Delbane Produce, and David Piddick with Cisco Detroit. I talked to all of them, and they donated stuff for the meals.
So if people
like I said, it's the community helping each other to help these people on the front lines and whoever else needs help.
It is, and it's good. And it's good to see teamwork from your team and from people in the community as well. So if people want to get involved in helping your team out in any way that they can to provide more meals and provide the services that your team's helping to provide to other people in the community. How can other people get involved? How can they help?
You know, I was actually watching the news the other day, and there's two brothers who were raising money to send to restaurants or something to help donate food to the front lines. And I think it's a lot of it helping is just staying inside and listening to those orders. But then, you know, like us, we have the advantage of having a big kitchen where we can do meals like that, you know. But I think just everybody pitching in where they can, you know, if someone says, oh, well, we want to donate here, we don't have a kitchen, but we want to donate here, you know, I think that's a good thing to work together. And it's building that relationship with someone you might not have known before.
And that's something that we can definitely all take from this crisis and from this trying time in all of our lives, is what can we do to be better members of the community and help other people out more. So Eric Avila, the executive chef at Pine Lake Country Club in West Bloomfield. Anything else you'd like to say to our audience today? Anything else you'd like to touch on?
Yeah, I just want to, like the firefighter said, you know, stay safe, stay inside, just follow the rules, and then, you know, we'll get through this together.
All right. Thank you very much, Eric, for joining us today. Eric Avila, the executive chef at Pine Lake Country Club, joining us via Zoom on the Megacast on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio and 88.1 WBFH the Biff, as well as on TV on Civic Center TV and online in HD on civiccentertv.com. Just go there and click on the Watch Live button, and you can watch us live in high definition. Not to say that the cable broadcast isn't fantastic. I watch it on cable when I'm home over the weekends all the time. So cable broadcast is great, but if you don't have us on Comcast or AT&T, you can always get us online at civiccentertv.com. We're going to take a short break. We've got plenty more coming up on the Megacast here on Civic Center TV, and also broadcasting on our family of radio stations, 89.3 Lakes FM, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, and on 88.1 WBFH The Biff. More from the Megacast coming right up.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Caldoun. We know that COVID-19 is spreading rapidly across Michigan right now. The most important thing people can do to protect themselves is social distancing. That means unless you are a critical infrastructure worker or going out to get food or medicine for your home, you should be staying at home. Stay home, stay safe, save lives.
The Centers for Disease Control and Oakland County Health Division encourages households to prepare for the possibility of a coronavirus outbreak in their community. Keep extra items in your house for an extended stay at home. Remember any special food items for babies, the elderly, and pets. Keep non-prescription drugs and other health supplies on hand, such as personal medications, at least 1 month's supply, first aid kits, alcohol-based hand sanitizer, at least 60% alcohol, non-mercury thermometer, and get copies and maintain electronic versions of health records. Talk with family members about how they would be cared for if they got sick and what would be needed to care for them in your home. Learn about the plan at your child's school and your workplace. Discuss sick leave policies and/or telework options for workers who become ill. For more information, go to oakgov.com/health or call our Nurse on Call hotline at 1-800-848-5533.
Just some more of the great resources being provided by Oakland County to help people in our area fight the coronavirus and keep themselves safe from the coronavirus. You are listening to the Megacast on Civic Center TV, watching on Civic Center TV and listening on 88.1 WBFH the Biff, 89.5 WAHS Avondale Community Radio, and of course 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com. I am Tyler Kieft, filling in for Dave Scott today, and we've had a lot of interesting information come in this week from throughout the state and throughout the local area, including guests that we've had here on the Megacast. Now, yesterday, the governor, Gretchen Whitmer, had a kind of a pop-up press conference. It kind of surprised us here, and we got it on the air as quickly as we could. And she spoke about new programs that the state is helping to enact to help frontline workers and those in long-term care facilities that have been highly affected by this disease. And also we heard from someone we hear from a lot in our public service announcements during the show, Dr. Jonay Caldoun, the chief medical executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Now, Dr. Caldoun had said that it looks like we may be at the beginnings of a plateau, and she's optimistic about the future. But Dr. Caldoun says, don't let the good numbers that we're seeing in the immediate present affect how you think about the immediate future. We are not necessarily clear of coronavirus just yet.
We are very optimistic that the actions that we are taking right now as a state are working, with continued slowing in the growth rates of cases and hospitalizations across Michigan. However, a plateau does not mean that we are out of the woods. There are still large numbers of cases and of deaths, and we see a significant burden of cases, particularly among the elderly and among African Americans. It would be premature to only look at a few days of data to make a determination that we should absolutely ease up social distancing measures.
So there she says, we're starting to see the beginnings of a plateau, but that does not necessarily mean that we have plateaued or that we are plateauing and finally have flattened the curve. So still be cautious. Still enact those measures in your home and in your life, washing your hands as often as you possibly can when you're touching surfaces, when you're interacting with other people, keeping your surfaces clean. And if you don't need to go out, don't go out. Stay home and stay safe. It's the saying that they've been pushing for a while here in the state of Michigan. Stay home, stay safe, and save lives. Another issue that we've been facing in treating the coronavirus has been acquiring the proper medical equipment, those PPE, personal protective equipment, gloves, masks, not ventilators, gloves, masks, face masks, as well on top of the facial masks, the physical masks for the hospital workers. And yesterday on the Megacast, Dave Scott spoke to Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, who says we need to manufacture more medical equipment at home and rely a little bit less on imports if we're going to be able to effectively fight COVID-19.
We cannot and should not ever be in this situation again where we are dependent on other countries. And because this was a pandemic, so many other countries were going through the same thing. And so you had stock materials for PPEs, which was our biggest crisis, ventilators and PPEs, personal protective equipment. And a lot of people, a lot of companies rolled up their sleeve, thank God, and just started, how do we manufacture this? What materials do we need? How do we make it? And, something that was really interesting to me were cotton swabs. I mean, really? We grow cotton in this country. We know how to manufacture anything, and we didn't have that. So things will change. I agree, because I'm pushing for it.
She and others in the U.S. Congress are pushing for that, and all throughout the country, making more equipment right here in the U.S., right here in Michigan even, so that we can get the frontline workers what they need. But even on top of that, what I've seen a lot in the news lately has been profound also. It's been states helping states, people helping people. Just recently, just yesterday, Governor Whitmer in her press conference announced that Governor Andrew Cuomo of the state of New York had committed to send 100 ventilators to the state of Michigan and 50 ventilators to the state of Maryland. And New York's being hit really hard by this, just like we are here in southeastern Michigan. And Governor Cuomo said something really interesting, and I don't have the direct quote, but it was along the lines of, we made a commitment to help other people when we could help them, just like we've been helped by them. And that's what New York had committed to by helping these other states while they're still in flux with the coronavirus themselves. We also had 50 ventilators on loan to the state of Michigan come in from Governor Gavin Newsom of California. So we have like Representative Lawrence had said, imports are probably not going to be entirely reliable because other countries are facing the coronavirus just like we are, and we have to probably should move to rely a little bit more on producing these essential medical equipment here in the U.S., but we're also helping each other, and we can always continue to help each other through this because we've never been through this before. We don't know how to get through this, and the only way we're going to figure it out effectively, safely, and save lives is to do it together. So I really did like what I've seen in the news from other states helping us out, and the ways that we're talking to other people in the community that are helping in our local area, who are helping each other out, helping their friends, their neighbors, their families, and complete strangers to get through this coronavirus crisis, to get through this pandemic, because that's the only way it's going to happen. We either can completely cut each other off and we can live in a world where we're fighting this virus alone, or we can fight this virus together and in the process grow closer as a society. So I think that's really absolutely beautiful what's been happening, and I can't show my appreciation enough for New York and for California for what they've done to help the state of Michigan, and for these people in our community that are helping each other as well. We're going to talk to another person from our community who is affected, of course, by the coronavirus, from the Michigan Brewers Guild. How is your beer affected by the coronavirus? We'll find that out and much more coming up on the Megacast. You are watching on Civic Center TV and listening on 89.3 Lakes FM, lakesfm.com, our partnering radio stations, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. We'll be back in just a moment with Aubrey Martinson from the Michigan Brewers Guild.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Caldoun. We know that COVID-19 is spreading rapidly across Michigan right now. The most important thing people can do to protect themselves is social distancing. That means unless you are a critical infrastructure worker or going out to get food or medicine for your home, you should be staying at home. Stay home, stay safe, save lives. Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Caldoun. I'm the Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The people who are at highest risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 are the elderly and those with chronic medical conditions. That includes people with heart disease, diabetes, COPD, or those who have compromised immune systems. People who are in those categories should right now be staying at home as much as possible and not going out if it is not essential. If you fit into one of those categories, those are the things you should do. And if you have a family member who fits into one of those categories, you should be checking in on them and making sure they are following those guidelines. There's something everyone can do to protect the community from COVID-19.
Megacast on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, and on WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. Welcome back. I'm Tyler Kieft, and we are going to continue to tell the stories of the people of Oakland County and our local area during this trying time. And somebody that's been very affected by this and whose business has been very affected by this is Aubrey Martinson. She is the founder of Chelsea Alehouse Brewery, and she is the secretary for the Michigan Brewers Guild. Aubrey, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you.
So first off, how are you doing? How's your family doing and holding up during all of this?
That is very kind of you to ask. We're all okay. We're adjusting. Thankfully, I don't have a family member, anybody in my immediate family or extended family that is sick. I'm very grateful for that. And we're all staying home and staying safe to the best of our ability. And, I've been home solidly since March 17th. And my husband, Chris, has been the one to leave the house and go into the brewery and adjust the business as needed. So yeah, but we're all safe. Thanks for asking. And I hope the same for you and your family.
So you are the founder of Chelsea Alehouse Brewery. For those who are unfamiliar, tell us a little bit about what your brewery does.
Yeah, so we're actually a brew pub. So that means we can make and sell our own beer. And we also have a Class C liquor license. So we can have other people's beer on tap. We serve cocktails, craft cocktails, and wine as well. And we're located in the small city of Chelsea. And we have a really loyal following. We have live music on Wednesdays and Sundays. I would say pre-pandemic, we had live music on Wednesdays and Sundays. And now we are, my husband laughs about this every day, but he's essentially turned our business into a pasty shop. So he's doing delivery and takeout. selling growlers to go out the door, and selling pasties. We did have a full menu, but now we're just simplifying.
So you're a small business owner, and every small business has been affected differently. How has the Chelsea Ale House Brewery been affected by this, and what are some of the ways, I mean, you spoke about what your husband's doing with the deliveries. What are some of the ways that your business, other than that, maybe are working around this virus?
Yeah, and like everybody, the world around us was changing daily, for a while. And at least we're grateful for a little bit of stability, even though the news is terrible. We just know it's going to be terrible for a while. So like a lot of our member breweries in the Brewers Guild, we had to adjust really quickly. Some breweries have decided to close altogether. Some have really embraced the changes and are doing a great job with delivery and takeout. For our own business, we had to lay off our staff. So my husband is pretty much running things on his own, and one other employee is able to come in. And everybody is just waiting for this to be over. The streets of Chelsea are desolate, just like so many communities in Michigan as well as across the country. So we're taking it day by day. And like everybody, following every possible lead for, government grant funding opportunities, loans, filling out all the applications, just like so many of us are all doing. And it's trying, we're hopeful that, the Chelsea Ale House is going to, come out of this. We're going to be a different business. We don't know what we're going to be seeing on the other side of this pandemic, but we hope to open and look a lot like we looked before.
Well, hopefully that does improve. You're also involved with the Michigan Brewers Guild.
Mm-hmm.
You're their secretary. How are you seeing other breweries being affected by the coronavirus and other ways that they're adapting?
Yeah, it's really amazing to see. Some people, like I said, did decide to close. And those are the businesses that do not have a food component. So, if they were just, come in and drink beer and that's it, no food, those businesses, some of them have closed. Others have really embraced the takeout and delivery. We're all worried. I mean, there's a good chance that a lot of the businesses, and not just breweries, but a lot of the businesses that, you frequent, on a daily basis pre-pandemic are not going to be there for you to frequent after the pandemic. This is really difficult. Most businesses do not have a reserve fund to make it, 4 to 8 weeks. It's just really, most of us don't have that, in our back pocket. So, it's been a big adjustment. And with the Brewers Guild, half of our mission is to gather thousands of people in one place for festivals, and we don't know what the future is going to look like for beer festivals. Gathering 10,000 people over 2 days in the Summer Beer Festival, it's going to look a lot different. We're going to have to put precautions in place, and come up with new ideas to engage the public, the beer drinking public, and our brewers and our members together. And it might not look the same. And we're trying to embrace change as much as we can across the board.
Yeah, and I know that your brewery in particular is a craft brewery, so that's different than just a general pub. How is the craft beer production business being affected by this as well?
It really depends on your market. So, some folks are, really able to make a go at it if they're in a high population area, to do the delivery service. Not all breweries deliver, but some who are able to by law can. And so, they're trying, they're making a go of it. They're getting their beer to market. Others are asking, what am I going to do with all this beer I can't sell? So there is some component of, people are sitting on product, and not all beer can last. Fresh IPA, it doesn't taste good, after a while, after it's been sitting around. So, so some people are dumping beer, but I think by and large, most people are, taking advantage of the shifting market, and they're doing their best to adapt. And I would say that, the people that I've been talking to are really, really trying to adapt, and most of them have. Whether it's successful, that's going to be that's an individual case by case basis, and it really depends on where you are. The rural folks are having a hard time. Some of the city folks are having a hard time. It just really depends on where you are.
You mentioned earlier the festivals are huge for breweries all throughout Michigan, and with the Michigan Brewers Guild, again, Aubrey Martinson, founder of Chelsea Ale House Brewery and the secretary for the Michigan Brewers Guild. The Brewers Guild is big on communication and marketing for these breweries and these brew pubs throughout the state. So with the festivals being out of the picture, what are some other ways that the Brewers Guild is helping these brew pubs and these breweries throughout the state of Michigan, throughout our area, to continue to get the word out and continue to be able to market their business?
Right. Well, and the festivals aren't quite out of the picture. We're still planning to host them. Like everybody, we are, we're surveying the landscape, and we're ready to make changes when and if we need to. But one of the things that the Guild does, and it does very well, is communicates with its members. So on the website, which is mibeer.com, we have a list of COVID-19 resources. Our executive director and 2 staff members are still working, and they're working from home. And Scott, Sherry, and Shannon are taking phone calls from brewery members and answering questions to the best of their ability. We have some folks who work with us in Lansing, and they've been doing a great job keeping us connected to the pulse of what's happening in the state level. And we do our best to share that information with our members, because the main point, yes, we promote our craft breweries and craft beer in Michigan as the great beer state, but we also, want to connect people with those resources. And that's half our mission, is to protect craft beer in Michigan. To protect beer in Michigan. And, we want to connect our brewers with the resources that we know about. And, we can't run your business for you. We can't fill out all the paperwork for you, but we can help connect you with those resources. And we're happy to share what we know.
So any brewery that would like to join the Brewers Guild, be involved with it, how can they get involved?
They can go to our Facebook page. They can search for Michigan Brewers Guild. They can go to our website, mibeer.com. And through that website, they can get in touch with us. And, anybody who is, interested, it's really a very welcoming organization, and there's a lot of camaraderie. We try to take care of each other to the best of our ability. And like all businesses in Michigan and in the United States right now, we're struggling, and what really helps us make it through this really hard time is knowing that you're not alone, and knowing that, there's help out there, and there are people out there who are willing to listen and just commiserate if we need to.
Aubrey Martinson, founder of the Chelsea Ale House Brewery and the secretary for the Michigan Brewers Guild. Thank you for joining us today.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your work.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Aubrey Martinson, Michigan Brewers Guild Secretary on the Megacast on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, and WAHS Avondale, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll talk about what's coming up tomorrow and give you some more of the information that we're helping to bring to you off the show here on the Megacast on Civic Center TV. Back in a moment with more of the Megacast on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, WAHS Avondale Community Radio, and 88.1 The Biff.
I am Dr. Faust, the Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. The most important thing you can do to prevent the spread of illness is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. Follow these 6 easy steps every time you wash your hands. Step 1. Turn on the sink and wet your hands with warm water. Step 2. Apply soap to your hands and lather between your fingers, under your nails, and the front and back of your hands and wrists. Step 3. Wash your hands by scrubbing them together for at least 20 seconds. Step 4. Rinse your hands with warm, clean water. And Step 5. Dry your hands with a clean cloth towel, a paper towel, or hot air blow dryer. If you're using a cloth towel, make sure to change it often. For handheld faucets, turn off the water using a paper towel instead of your bare hand. Step 6. If you're using a paper towel, throw it away. Practice healthy habits like washing your hands after coughing or sneezing into them to keep you and others healthy. Go to oakgov.com/health or call Nurse on Call at 1-800-848-5533 to learn more.
providing Oakland County with news and information in the local area during the coronavirus outbreak. This is the Megacast on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, 88.1 WBFH the Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. Welcome back. I am Tyler Kieft here in the Green Media Center studios in West Bloomfield for 89.3 Lakes FM, bringing you the Megacast. Just a few minutes left in today's show, but man, tomorrow's show has a packed schedule with lots of great guests with plenty of information for you. We are joined now by Captain Jeff Cowan, our producer and the captain of our show, the captain of our carryout club. Jeff, tell us a little bit about what we can expect tomorrow with Dave Scott and our company on the Megacast.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for having me on today. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Good. I'm doing great. We got a great show lined up for tomorrow. We are starting off with the Michigan Bankers Association. We're going to be talking with the Michigan History Center. We're also meeting with Oakland University professor Dr. Lucarelli. We're talking with Jennifer Tucker from West Bloomfield Parks. We're going to talk with the Detroit Police Department, as well as Scott Pratt, the Chief of Southern Field Operations at Michigan Department of Natural Resources. And I believe we're also going to try to have on Commissioner Nash, the Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner. So a big schedule tomorrow, a lot to talk about.
Thank you, Jeff. We have also been joined today by the West Bloomfield Fire Department on their Facebook page. And who's going to be with us on Facebook tomorrow, Jeff? We have that planned out?
So tomorrow, the Facebook partner is planned to be the West Bloomfield Parks and Rec through Jennifer Tucker.
Wonderful. Great to partner with them. And we can't say enough how much we appreciate the West Bloomfield Fire Department having us on their Facebook page today. So a packed show tomorrow. Lots of really great information, Jeff. But we're also providing information to the public also on our website. What's it like keeping up with the articles? What are we doing to keep our website's information up to date with coronavirus information that's helpful to our Oakland County viewers?
Well, as Dave Scott likes to say, there is no end to the news cycle anymore, and he's absolutely correct. So I'm always checking every few hours to see what's coming on, what's new. And, with COVID today, everything changes so fast. So there is plenty of news to go around.
Absolutely is, and it never stops. Jeff, thank you for joining us today on the Megacast.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, you're doing a great job, and we have a great show planned tomorrow for you here on the Megacast, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, same place, same time, different guy. Dave Scott's going to be back in the studio tomorrow running that show, but I'll be here running around, pushing buttons, keeping everybody happy and on the air, and we'll have a great lineup of people tomorrow. Jim Nash, the Water Resources Commissioner, he'll have great insight on some of the problems that the water departments have when we're flushing these wipes down the toilet. You got to stop. These don't go down the toilet, people. They don't. They're going to clog up the system. He'll tell us more about how that affects everything in our water system and how that could cause some more problems and require more workers to go out in the community to help fix those problems, which could further this problem. So more ways that we can work together to work through this coronavirus crisis and make sure that we are doing so in a way that's safe and helping each other and other people as well in the process. So I talked to Jeff Cowan just a few minutes ago about our resources online. I can't go over this enough because it's just such a great resource. CivicCenterTV.com/coronavirus. We have up-to-date information daily. The news cycle, as he said, as Dave Scott says, never stops. We have new information coming through daily that is posted to CivicCenterTV.com/coronavirus. Get all this news and information you need to know. You want to learn more about the protest that happened downtown in Lansing yesterday at the state capitol in protest of the governor's extended stay-at-home order. You can click on that link. It'll take you to an article that will give you plenty of information on Operation Gridlock. Thousands of vehicles downtown in Lansing, people on foot, people on the Capitol lawn as well, protesting the governor's stay-at-home order. That was the big story yesterday and into today regarding the COVID-19 in the state of Michigan. But we have plenty of other information as well on their Oakland counties began their testing today. We have a story that we talked about earlier with Eric Avila from Pine Lake Country Club, where his team made 400 meals for the night shift workers at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. You can read that full story by going to our website. And Henry Ford Health Systems also putting out videos that are helping show celebration and support for frontline workers, and you can find all those by going to our website. Again, civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. But we have plenty more on top of that as well. The Megacast happens Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com. 88.1 WBFH The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. But if you missed the show, if you missed part of the show and you want to watch it back over, civiccentertv.com/megacast. And you can find here information about our show, information about our partnering stations, and in these 3 links, you can watch full episodes, entire episodes of the Megacast going back to our first and to today's episode later on when it's posted. Short clips that we use all the time on this show to give you just quick bites of information that you need to know, and full interviews with newsmakers that we have talked to. So we have full interviews such as yesterday, U.S. Representative Brenda Lawrence. We talked to Mike Forsyth from Detroit City Distillery about how his team is helping people through this coronavirus crisis, and much more by creating hand sanitizer. So all that information online, civiccentertv.com. Highly encourage you to go there and check out all that information. We got plenty for you, and it's always right there at your fingertips with our team here at Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM and our family of stations. We can't thank enough the West Bloomfield Fire Department for putting us on their Facebook page, and our partnering stations, WAHS Avondale Community Radio, 88.1 WBFH The Biff. For Civic Center TV, I'm Tyler Keefe. You've been listening to the Megacast on 89.3 WBLD, Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake. Thank you for joining us. Be kind, stay safe, and good day.